The film revolves around the Nazi soldiers, who are on the verge of conquering Earth through a different means. The film begins in 1945 in Germany, where Nazi scientist Dr. Josef Mengele and his team of doctors and soldiers are loading a cylindrical-shaped machine onto an airplane. Suddenly, an American tank arrives, leading to a fierce battle between the two groups of soldiers. Dr. Mengele successfully destroys the tank, but faces a counterattack from the enemy soldiers. Despite being under heavy fire, he manages to shoot them all and board the plane. As he is about to take off, he deals with one soldier who tries to climb in by slitting his throat. Just as the plane is about to escape, another tank opens fire, but the aircraft narrowly avoids the shots and takes off into the sky. The scene then shifts to Antarctica, where the two researchers of a research team, Dr. Mark Maynard and Dr. Paige Morgan, are conducting an investigation in the frozen landscape. Dr. Mark contacts May at the Niflheim station to give her an update on their location, and they have a brief, casual chat. Shortly after, the two doctors begin drilling into the ice. Within moments, their drill strikes something metallic just beneath the icy surface. As they dig out, they discover that the metallic barrier bears a swastika symbol. Before they can react, Nazi soldiers in fatigues and gas masks suddenly appear behind them and quickly capture them. When one of the soldiers attempts to attack Paige, Mark steps in to protect her. In the struggle, the soldier strikes Mark in the head, knocking him out. The soldiers then blow up the area and drag the unconscious Mark away with them. Meanwhile, another member from the same team, Dr. Lucas Moss, is at the station, carefully examining a ring as he prepares to propose to Dr. Paige. He is joined by a colleague who is assisting with moving the samples. As the colleague accidentally bumps into something and nearly drops the samples, Dr. Lucas quickly catches them and is alarmed to find one sample is a Vibrio vulnificus, a dangerous flesh-eating bacteria. When he asks about it, his teammate reveals that it was provided by Dr. Adrian Riestad, the station chief of Niflheim and the team's head researcher. He has been serving as a mentor, sharing his decade of experience in Antarctica with the team. Dr. Lucas, disappointed, rushes to confront Dr. Adrian, who is in the midst of a demonstration. Dr. Lucas criticizes Dr. Adrian for keeping such a hazardous specimen in the lab. Their argument is interrupted when May bursts into the room, visibly distressed, and informs them that Paige and Mark have not checked in. The entire team from the Niflheim station sets out across the snowy landscape in search of Dr. Paige and Dr. Mark. When they arrive at the site, they discover evidence of a generator explosion and find numerous footprints and a dragging mark leading off into the distance. Following the trail, they come across a large tunnel carved into the ice. Dr. Lucas attempts to enter the tunnel, but Dr. Adrian initially tries to prevent him, warning that it might be dangerous. Despite the risk, Dr. Lucas insists on going in to find Paige, and his determination convinces his team to let him proceed. Dr. Lucas, along with his team, descends about 50 feet below the surface into the tunnel. To their surprise, the temperature down there is warmer than expected. Dr. Lucas deduces that the heat is coming from deeper within the tunnel, prompting the team to investigate further. Meanwhile, Dr. Mark regains consciousness when Dr. Paige calls out to him. As he comes to, he realizes they are both being held captive in a dark room. Paige checks to see if Mark's bleeding has stopped when Nazi soldiers in masks arrive and take him away, leaving Paige alone. Mark then finds himself in an operating room-like space, unable to move. A man approaches him and begins to cut the skin just below his hairline. Despite Mark's desperate pleas, the man continues to rip the skin from his head, leaving Mark to cry in pain. After some time, a soldier enters the room to bring Paige some food. Seizing the chance, Paige quickly grabs the fork, and as the soldier leaves and locks the door behind him, she wedges the fork in the door to prevent it from fully closing. This trick allows her to slip out of the room and explore the facility. As Paige wanders through the facility, she comes across a room with a man lying in bed. As she approaches, she sees that the man resembles Mark, and she mistakes him for Mark. She calls out to him, but then hears another voice pleading for help from the other side of the room. Investigating further, she finds Mark to be skinless and covered in blood. Overwhelmed with disgust and fear, Paige backs away only to find the man who looks like Mark appearing behind her. She tries to use the fork to defend herself, but he easily disarms her. She then tries to punch him, but he remains unaffected. In a panic, Paige flees into a room filled with hanging skin and dead bodies. Before she can process what is happening, the man with Mark's face and 2 soldiers surround her, making her scream in terror. Soon after, Paige finds herself back in the operating room-like space, where a man soon joins her. As he prepares to carry out a procedure on her, Paige tries to engage him in a conversation about his men, suggesting that he should consider trying a new medication on them. Intrigued by her suggestion, the man puts away his instruments and begins to examine Paige. He then asks her to share everything she knows about the situation. Back at the team's location, Lucas decides to continue investigating the tunnel despite his team members' objections. He persuades the team to let him proceed and prepares to descend. A few minutes later, Lucas unclips the rope, which makes the team anxious. They try calling out to him from above, but get no response. Dr. Adrian volunteers to go down to check on Lucas. But another team member, Celia Lagesson, offers to go instead, arguing that her lighter weight would make it easier for the team to manage. The team agrees and lets Celia descend. Celia also unclips the rope after a few minutes and falls into the tunnel. She soon notices a light coming from deeper within and moves toward it. There, she discovers Lucas's clothes and other belongings scattered on the ground. As she reaches the source of the light, she reunites with Lucas. They are both astonished to find themselves in an underground forest illuminated by an artificial sun. Later, the entire Niflheim station team is reunited with Lucas and Celia, and they are all astonished to find such a place hidden in the heart of Antarctica. Dr. Adrian explains that this part of Antarctica was under German control during World War II, sharing his insights about its historical significance. He explains that for centuries, people have talked about hidden worlds within the hollow earth. In the 18th century, writers referred to this as Agartha. Hitler even sent expeditions to find the supposed entrance to Agartha at the South Pole. Some believe the site was used for secret submarine bases, while others think it was the center of Nazi UFO research. When one of the team members asks how he knows all this, Adrian explains that it comes from what he has heard from others and his own experiences living in Antarctica for the past 10 years. With this new understanding, the team decides to press on in their search for Paige and Mark, despite the blazing sun. As they get closer to a building, May hesitates, unsure about what dangers might lie ahead. Lucas suggests that the team stay behind while he goes forward to find Paige and Mark. However, Celia counters this suggestion, arguing that Paige and Mark are their friends and they have come too far to turn back now. Although May remains doubtful, the team decides to move forward, determined to continue their search. When they reach the building, Dr. Aaron Bleckman, one of the members of Niflheim Station, remarks that the building looks familiar. But Lucas quickly figures out that it is because it was built by humans. The team then enters the building, and the door closes behind them automatically. They are soon confronted by Nazi soldiers in fatigues and gas masks, who surround them along with Dr. Joseph. As Dr. Joseph arrives, he unexpectedly praises Adrian for keeping his promise, leaving the team astonished. Adrian then begins to explain that this is not his first time at the facility. He refers to the place as Neuschwabenland and recounts that he was first brought there 10 years ago while working on site. The team recognizes Dr. Joseph Mengele as the infamous Angel of Death and Butcher of Auschwitz, noting that he was believed to have died in the 1970s. As they discuss Dr. Joseph's supposed death, he interrupts to reveal his own story. He explains that he replaced his skeleton with another one, which cured his arthritis and osteoporosis and halted his health decline. Dr. Belchman protests, arguing that Dr. Joseph should not be killing innocent people. In response, Dr. Joseph shoots him, causing him to vanish within minutes, leaving the team horrified. Dr. Joseph continues his story, describing how the Americans and Russians rushed to capture the brilliant German scientists after the war, and how he managed to liberate them. He reveals his plan to establish himself and his group as the masters of the world. Dr. Joseph then explains that Adrian has stayed alive by agreeing to provide them with high-quality replacement parts, but he reassures the team that they are there for a different purpose, as they are leaders in their respective fields. Lucas declares that he will never assist Dr. Joseph, which leads to him being held at gunpoint. At that moment, Paige appears in a Nazi uniform and whispers to Dr. Joseph. She tells Lucas that they can either help or die. Although Lucas is relieved to see Paige, she remains emotionless. The team is led to a dark room and locked inside. Once there, Lucas objects to the idea of helping Dr. Joseph. But the other members insist that they should follow orders and try to survive, just as Adrian and Paige have done. After witnessing what happened to Dr. Bleckman and hearing the group's perspective, Lucas agrees to cooperate for the time being, but vows to find a way to deal with the Nazis when the opportunity arises. As they are escorted to the laboratory, Paige and Adrian, along with Dr. Joseph, watch the team from a distance. Lucas calls out to Paige, but she turns her face away, refusing to acknowledge him. In the laboratory, May spots a man with a decayed face and black eyes sitting motionless in front of a Nazi flag. Mistaking him for Mark, she tries to approach, but Lucas stops her from getting closer to the man who looks like Mark. Dr. Joseph and Adrian arrive, and Dr. Joseph explains that he has been conducting research on genetics and organ transplantation in this very lab. He gives the team an overview of the laboratory equipment and files. Dr. Joseph then pops a bump on the man's face, and Lucas, understanding the situation, grabs an antibiotic and injects it into the bump in the man's face. After this, Dr. Joseph leaves the team to start their work. While the team works in the lab, Mary discreetly hands a pair of scissors to Lucas, suggesting he might find them useful. Lucas quietly pockets the scissors as Celia observes their interaction. Soon after, the team is captured again and brought to a man who looks like a zombie. The man separates the team by gender, taking the 3 male doctors to one area and the 3 female doctors to another. Lucas asks about the separation, and the man explains that the females are being taken for a shower. The 3 women are led into a room with a zombie-like figure. They hold hands for support, but as they enter the room, Celia releases Mary's hand and stands apart. The zombie approaches Dr. Angela Magliarosa, examines the tattoo on her arm, and begins to strip her clothes off. May is held by another zombie, and Adrian arrives, grabbing May and pushing her against the wall, scolding her for her actions. Dr. Joseph enters the room and orders that May be taken to the operating room. In the room, the man with Mark's face and other zombie-like figures appear and assault Angela. As Lucas is being taken through the hallway, he finds Celia crying in a corner. He asks her about Angela and May, but she is too scared to speak. While trying to leave Celia, they see Dr. Joseph, Adrian, and one of Joseph's men carrying a body covered in a blood-stained white sheet. Lucas also notices Angela's tattoo on the neck of the soldier, realizing that Angela must be dead. Lucas and Celia are then taken to a room where May's body is displayed. Her head is wide open, revealing her brain. Lucas tries to confront Adrian about the morality of their actions, but Adrian scolds him and has him removed from the room. Adrian then injects May's brains with an empty syringe to collect stem cells, which he then puts into the cylindrical machine. When the machine fails to operate correctly, Dr. Joseph, enraged, rips May's brain from her head and smashes it on the floor before leaving the room in fury. Celia, overwhelmed by the scene, vomits, which only makes Adrian more furious. She then reveals that she is pregnant. Adrian initially pretends to apologize, but then strikes her in the face. While Celia wakes up, she finds herself tied down in an operating room where the doctors are preparing to extract the fetus for the stem cells. Once the stem cells are obtained, Dr. Joseph and Adrian return to the machine, injecting the stem cells into it. The machine starts up and transforms, unveiling a robot with a revived Adolf Hitler inside. The male members of the Niflheim station are escorted to a spacious, well-lit area, accompanied by Dr. Joseph, Adrian, and Paige. As they enter, they see the cylindrical machine with the revived Adolf Hitler inside, rising ominously behind them. The sight is chilling, and Lucas, along with the other 2 team members, is filled with terror. They feel an unsettling anticipation, knowing that something dreadful is about to unfold. The soldiers surrounding them salute Hitler, who begins to deliver a speech. As his speech concludes, the structure around them begins to shift and open up, revealing a massive UFO emerging from beneath the ground. The UFO's entrance slowly opens, and Dr. Joseph announces that their services are no longer needed. He instructs Dr. Paige and Adrian to prepare for surgery. Upon hearing this, one of the team members panics and tries to flee. As he makes his escape, the soldiers are poised to shoot him. However, Hitler intervenes, instructing the soldiers to halt, and instead, he himself rushes after the fleeing team member. Hitler then separates his head from his body by slitting his throat. After the unsettling events, everyone boards the UFO. Lucas finds himself restrained in a room where, shortly afterward, Paige and Dr. Joseph join him to begin the surgery. Paige is visibly shaken and disturbed by the situation. but Dr. Joseph tries to calm her. He explains that he needs a new skin, and he proposes that Lucas's skin could be used for this purpose. Dr. Joseph suggests that this arrangement would allow him to assume Lucas's identity, and Paige would then be free to be with him. To facilitate the procedure, Dr. Joseph hands Paige a surgical instrument. As Paige takes the instrument, she quickly devises a plan. Instead of performing the surgery, she uses the opportunity to free Lucas from his restraints. Once Lucas is free, Paige takes swift action and slits Dr. Joseph's throat, killing him immediately. With Dr. Joseph out of the way, Lucas grabs the scissors he had hidden earlier and attacks the nearby soldier, killing him as well. Paige and Lucas then seize the chance to escape from the room and search for their remaining teammates. Meanwhile, in another part of the UFO, Adrian is preparing to perform surgery on one of the team members with the help of Celia and the man who resembles Mark. Just as they are about to begin, strange noises echo from outside the room. Adrian quickly decides to flee, grabbing Celia and making a hurried escape. As Lucas enters the room, he is confronted by the man who looks like Mark. They engage in a fierce struggle, and Paige, arriving just in time, manages to free the captured team member and overpower the lookalike. In the heat of the fight, Lucas tears away the fake skin from the man's face, causing him to scream in agony. With the man subdued, they set out to find Adrian and figure out how to escape the UFO. Unfortunately, Adrian is not forthcoming with help, leaving Paige and Lucas to navigate their own way out. Subsequently, Hitler and his soldiers are attempting to escape from the icy confines of the UFO. Paige leads Lucas and his other teammate to Mark, who is lying in a bed, suffering and pleading to die. They discover that Mark's right hand and leg have been amputated, making his suffering even more unbearable. Mark expresses his desire to end his life, and while Lucas considers shooting him to end his misery, Paige opts for a more peaceful solution. She administers a lethal dose of drugs, allowing Mark to pass away quietly. After Mark's death, Paige and Lucas resume their search for an exit. They soon encounter and are pursued by Nazi soldiers. As the UFO ascends into the outer atmosphere, it begins attacking nearby aircraft. Meanwhile, Adrian and Celia reach the main control station, with Celia holding the device for the generator explosion. Lucas and the remaining team members find themselves in a lab, where the plan is to unleash flesh-eating bacteria on the world. Lucas is desperate to prevent this catastrophe, but is unsure how to proceed. Just then, one of the team members spots the critical control point and rushes to press the button. Unfortunately, he is killed by Hitler, who was lying in wait. With only Lucas and Paige left, they make their escape. Paige devises a plan to sacrifice herself so Lucas can get away. She deliberately steps in front of Hitler, drawing his attention. As Hitler prepares to fire, Lucas intervenes, pulling Paige out of the way and saving her. While they are fleeing, Adrian and Celia position the explosive device. As the device detonates, it destroys the UFO. By the time the explosion occurs, Lucas and Paige have already made their escape in a small aircraft, safely away from the chaos. Outside the UFO, Hitler pursues Lucas and Paige, trying to attack them. Paige once again distracts Hitler to give Lucas a chance. While she keeps Hitler occupied, Lucas climbs onto the robot and manages to inject a drug into it. This action kills Hitler, who then falls into the ocean below. In the final scene, Lucas and Paige embrace, relieved and exhausted. Overcome with emotion, Lucas proposes to Paige, asking her to marry him. Paige, touched by the moment, happily accepts his proposal.